Hi everyone, it's Brady here, and you are in for a bit of a different episode today. Now, usually when we make the Unmade Podcast, I'm here in England, recording the audio into my computer, Tim's in Australia, recording audio into his computer, we merge the two together, and you get the finished product. But of course, in a recent episode, we had an idea called the One-Sided Podcast, in which we released just one of the audio tracks. That track is released to you, the civilians, and you have to kind of like fill in the blanks, make a podcast, pretend you're the co-host, and respond to what you're hearing. So Tim and I have released my half of a conversation we had a week or two ago. A bunch of you downloaded it, and you've sent in some submissions. That's what you're about to hear. I've kind of mashed them together into a big, epic supercut. But if you want to hear some more of what came in and some unadulterated submissions, I'm going to talk about that a bit more at the end of the episode. Also, at the end of the episode, as a very special treat, you're going to get like the solutions. You're going to hear the actual recording of the conversation between me and Tim, with Tim included. So after hearing all the guesses and speculation and improvised craziness, you can hear the actual conversation that took place. That's something to look forward to. Anyway, are you ready? Here we go.
This is the one and only take of the Unmade One-Sided Podcast. And the reason why it's one take is because I want to be surprised by everything that happens. And I want the reaction to be natural. So let's go.
All right, I'll do a quick count just for the sake of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, I'll do a quick count just for the sake of it.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Good
5,
start.
6, 7, 8,
2 more.
9, 10.
Whoa, Brady. Wow. I'm really impressed. That's a new record.
Let me just start by saying, Brady, that I am so happy to be here, mate. It is such an honour. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to
All right, I'll do a
discussing,
quick count just for the sake of it.
Yeah, a
1,
broad range of topics.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
sorry, hang on. How did these work
7,
again?
8.
Right, let me
9,
come in. 5,
10.
6, 7, 8. Sorry.
Let's make sure our equipment is all synced up. Can we do a quick abacus check?
All right, I'll do a quick count just for the sake of it. 1,
Good.
2,
Yeah.
3,
Right.
4,
Sure.
5,
Uh-huh.
6,
Good.
7,
Keep going.
8, 9, 10.
Hang on, I might be missing a few beads.
So I've chosen a talking discussion point, and I've chosen something close to my heart, so you can probably guess what it is.
Space?
Well, that is close to my heart, but no, not that.
Mountains?
No. Very funny, very funny. I'll give you a clue.
Okay.
It's something that's in the sky.
Stars?
Well, a bit more specific than that.
The sun?
No, it's an object.
An object. International Space Station?
Yes! At
Really?
last! And I've chosen something close to my heart, so you can probably guess what it is.
Your lungs, maybe?
Well, that is close to my heart, but no, not that.
Then maybe it's your left shoulder.
No.
Liver, stomach?
No.
I don't know. Then I run out of things that are close to your heart.
Very funny, very funny. I'll give you a clue. It's something that's in the sky.
Diamonds.
Well, a bit more specific than that.
Huh. Then it would be Lucy with 1 diamond.
And I've chosen something close to my heart, so you can probably guess what it is.
Is it that new tattoo on your chest?
Well, that is close to my heart, but no,
Are you
not
sure?
that.
I mean, the only passion I know that you have is your love for tattoos.
No.
Well, as a kid, you like cheese.
Very funny, very funny. I'll give you a clue. It's something that's in the sky.
Is it outer space?
Well, a bit more specific than that.
Well, you're always on about the Apollo missions and how great they were and how astronauts are the best.
No, it's an object.
The The sun, Mars, moon?
Yes, at last.
It's not the atmosphere.
No, it's an object.
An object in the sky. Is it the ISS by chance?
Yes, at last.
I'm struggling here. I'm floundering a little bit.
Very funny, very funny. I'll give you a clue.
Yeah.
It's something that's in the sky.
Oh, the moon.
Well, a bit more specific than that.
Maybe a particular crater on the moon, a particular mountain.
You can probably guess what it is.
Lollipops.
Well, that is close to my heart, but no, not that.
Tricycles.
No.
With ribbons.
No.
Children on airplanes. Crying.
Very funny, very funny. I'll give you a clue. It's something that's in the sky.
Clouds.
Well, a bit more specific than that.
The ozone layer.
No, it's an object.
I mean, they call it the moon, but no, it can't be.
Yes, at last. And I've chosen something close to my heart, so you can probably guess what it is.
Your ribs.
Well, that is close to my heart, but no, not that.
The city of Adelaide.
No.
Audrey?
No.
Your hatred of New Zealanders.
Very funny, very funny. You can probably guess what it is.
Numbers, chemistry, pericardium.
Well, that is close to my heart, but no, not that.
Dogs, holidays, things, stuff. Bristol, bridge.
No.
Maps?
No.
Give me a little something. Lloyd Webber musicals?
Very funny, very funny. I'll give you a clue.
Mm.
It's something that's in the sky.
Birds, bats, planes, air.
Well, a bit more specific than that.
Sun, moon.
You can probably guess what it is.
Oh, KFC.
Well, that is close to my heart, but no, not that.
Let me think. Hover?
No.
Ting?
No.
Is it audible? You talk about these things all the time, man.
Very funny, very funny. I'll give you a clue.
Okay.
It's something that's in the sky.
Weather.
Well, a bit more specific than that.
Is it the rain that falls in funeral scenes at movies? That's like the drumbeat of your own grief falling down from the heavens?
No, it's an object.
Oh, Mary Poppins' umbrella.
Yes, at last.
Wow. I mean, I know space was a big interest.
It is. It's one of my great passions. And I always kind of wonder what you know about it. What do you know about the moon?
The moon? Oh, I thought we were talking about the space station.
So quite a bit then.
I mean, I know it was used to help develop our early calendar system.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't think that's one of your big passions. Yeah? Well, I was going to say people needed to keep track of when to harvest things, so they didn't have any real way to keep
that's
time.
Incorrect, actually.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Would you like to explain more on the subject then? I'm definitely not a personal
That is
speaker.
correct. That is correct, because it spins on its own axis in the same amount of period it takes to go around the Earth. It always faces. That's a tidal lock, always pointing that same face. So we never see the other side of the moon, the far side of the moon.
That is true. I honestly wonder how different it is.
Yeah.
You know, but I guess you'd have to talk to the 3 astronauts who saw it. But would you ever go to the far side of the moon, Brady?
It is. The moon has a very low albedo. It's about the same as sort of bitumen on the road. It's a very dark object. What do you know about the moon?
I know that it's made of cheese.
So quite a bit then.
Yeah, quite a bit. I also know it's very heavy, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's also far away. Yeah, very, very far away. And I also know that it's round.
No, that's incorrect, actually.
I should have known, because when you were a kid, you used to think the moon was made out of cheese. So it was one of your great passions, too.
It is. It's one of my great passions. And I always kind of wonder what you know about it. What do you know about the moon?
Well, now that we're grown up, I know it's not made out of cheese.
So quite a bit then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is kind of confusing with all the holes and stuff. It looks like some Swiss cheese,
Exactly.
right? You look at it and it just makes a fellow wonder. To be serious, though, I know it's a rock that's orbiting the Earth, and it takes about 1 day for it to orbit the Earth completely.
No, that's incorrect, actually.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's not how it orbits the Earth. It's how the Earth spins around and it catches the moon once per day. I know that you only ever see one side of the moon. Is that right?
That is correct. That is correct, because it spins on its own axis.
I didn't know those details. That's kind of interesting, but man, you teach me stuff all the time, which is a little bit surprising.
What do you know about the moon?
The moon. The moon.
So quite a bit then.
So much. I know that all of the craters are
Exactly.
Yeah, they're apparently named after different people. Different. I don't know if they're donors or if NASA or whatever. Famous people. Some of them are. Some of them just seem to be random names to me. I don't know who got to name
No, that's
them.
incorrect, actually.
Oh, really? Well, then forgive me. I'm just mistaken. So far as I was aware, they were named after various people here and there. But aside from that, I know it's not made of cheese, but it's also...
That is correct. That is correct, because it spins on its own axis in the same amount of period it takes to go around the Earth. It always faces. That's a tidal lock.
Yeah, I have heard that as well, the tidal locking. They're kind of, like it says, locked together, so we only see the one side of it, as opposed to the dark side of the moon, which is pretty... I mean, we know what it looks like.
What do you know about the moon?
We've been speaking about the moon for quite some time before we start recording. And,
so quite a bit then.
Yeah, I mean, I remember hearing on a podcast about something about small intestine, go there and back.
Exactly.
Yeah, and there's some statistics about roads. I think something about if we stack up all the roads in the world, it'd take you to the moon and back several times. I can't quite remember the numbers.
No, that's incorrect, actually.
Okay. Right. I know there is some fact about roads and celestial bodies. Actually, Brady, just a quick point. I know Tim wanted me to slip in his daughter's hidden words. They're albedo and bitumen.
It is. The moon has a very low albedo. It's about the same as sort of bitumen on the road. It's a very dark object. I always kind of wonder what you know about it. What do you know about the moon?
It's made of pecorino romano cheese.
So quite a bit then.
I took some classes myself. And it may have been formed by impact with another celestial object.
Exactly.
Long ago in a galaxy right here. Jupiter's orbit kicked out all these other objects, and this one of them hit our forming planet. And
no, that's incorrect, actually.
Who knows? Some sort of a thing with Mars.
Yeah.
And so it starts spinning, and there you have it. And it's locked in orbit, spinning at the same rate as it revolves around the Earth.
That is correct. That is correct, because it spins on its own axis.
They're trying to convince us that there's this globe thing going on, which we all know is actually just, government secret project. I mean, the moon landing of all things...
No, that's incorrect, actually.
Wait, you don't agree? I thought we were on the same page here, Brady.
Yeah.
Okay, I think there's just a misunderstanding here, because, the whole Earth being flat and everything, obviously we know that to be true.
What do you know about the moon?
It's in the sky.
So quite a bit then.
Yeah, right. The average person knows nothing about the moon, so...
Exactly.
Yeah, but I recently saw the Apollo 11 movie. Yeah. So the first person to walk on the moon was Neil Armstrong. Second person was Buzz Wilson?
No, that's incorrect, actually.
Oh, gosh. It was Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Buzz Aldrin. All right. Yeah, I know the moon. You can never see the dark side of the moon.
That is correct. That is correct, because it spins on its own axis.
Well, I appreciate you sounding kind of interested, but again, Brady, are you going to pretend that the moon fits in your pocket? This is dumb.
No, that's incorrect, actually.
Oh, it's incorrect that it's dumb. Is that what you're saying? So this is smart?
Yeah.
Okay, right. You're an intelligent man. I've followed your career for a fair bit. So why now Are you trying to take this flight of fancy and think whimsy is your thing?
That is correct. That is correct, because it spins on its own axis.
What?
In the same amount of period it takes to go around the Earth.
Are you even listening?
It always faces. That's a tidal lock. Always pointing that same face.
Right.
So we never see the other side of the moon, the far side of the moon.
So what you're saying is, regardless of what I say, you're just going to soldier on with this utter nonsense.
Yeah.
Right, well, at least you're big enough to accept it.
Oh, we were talking about the moon?
So quite a bit then.
Oh, yeah, so much. I'm a real moon expert. I've been watching that show on Apple.
Exactly.
It's got the moon in it.
Yeah, I should have guessed that one with you. You never shut up about Mary Poppins' umbrella.
It is. It's one of my great passions. And I always kind of wonder what you know about it.
Well, obviously you're the expert, but from a layman's perspective, I know the handle looks like a bird, and I know that she can use it to fly. There's always that scene where she's flying up into the sky, one of those iconic scenes of flight in cinema, right up there with E.T. riding a bicycle in front of the moon.
What do you know about the moon?
I know it's that thing behind the bicycle in E.T.
So quite a bit then.
Clearly. I mean, usually I wouldn't have much to say about the moon, but if I don't say something about it, you're going to keep talking about that umbrella.
Exactly.
So I better think of something to say.
What's your favorite thing in space?
Right now, I'd have to say the near-Earth asteroid 2015 DP-155, but that's because I got to do a research project on it over the summer. It was at the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico. My project was to make a 3D shape model of an asteroid based off of radar data from the observatory. I thought you might find that interesting.
No. So I would have thought, because I know you recently watched the Apollo 11 documentary, I thought you might be sort of full of facts and little nuggets. Like, what did you take away from that documentary? What was your lasting impression of it? Or what was something you didn't know before?
Well, to be honest, I haven't seen the Apollo 11 documentary. But it can go on my list of things to watch. I have seen Apollo 13. I know that's a completely different story, but yeah. I would say, though, even just watching it, the amount of courage and bravery it takes to get in that ship and to launch up to the moon, it's astounding. It, not knowing that you're going to be able to survive, and as a risk-averse person, I don't think I could handle that, honestly. Especially if you have a family and kids, which I know I don't. I know you've got a wife, Brady, so I'm sure it would be more challenging for you to go to the moon. Would you ever go to the moon, Brady?
Yeah. Did you watch it with your youngsters?
Oh.
What did they think of it?
Well, you missed the part of the conversation where I said I didn't have any children, but I'm sure they would be fascinated if I did have any, because who doesn't want to go up into space, especially when you're little? You see all these guys in these cool suits exploring all these neat places, and...
or you were wrong.
Oh. I guess I could not be into space.
Yeah?
Yeah, I guess it's possible. I
love that. I love it. Can you remember an example, or...
Of a child that was never into space? No, I can't. They always, want to explore things.
Mare tranquillitatis, I think. What did you take away from that documentary? What was your your lasting impression of it? Or what was something you didn't know before?
Of the Apollo 11 documentary that I watched. My goodness. Tell me what I didn't learn, because that'd be a shorter list. Goodness gracious, I learned so much. The mission was a resounding leap as far as space exploration is concerned. And my goodness gracious, did it ever do leaps and bounds for humanity? Oh man, can't think of much more that did more than that. It was the 11th Apollo mission. I mean that goes without saying, but it reinforced that knowledge through the documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I learned so much. I'm literally speechless because all of the thoughts are trying to fight for what I want to explain that I learned.
Yeah. Did you watch it with your youngsters? What did they think of it?
My youngsters. Oh man, the youngsters. The youngsters that. So many stories to tell, let alone go deep into regarding just this documentary, because they love all the space footage. I mean, they don't care what the information being conveyed is. They just like seeing.
or you were wrong.
Or I was wrong.
Truth be told, Brady, I didn't actually get a chance to watch the documentary. I was going to tell you this before the show, but obviously you were talking quite enthusiastically about the moon and your moon facts, which is fine. That's fine. But a documentary I watched, not recently, but we actually covered it in A-level politics, was, I believe it was called 13th. And I won't talk about it too much. Its focus is sort of war on drugs, racism in America. Obviously quite serious, quite heavy for the podcast, but I will absolutely recommend it. It's such a powerful documentary. The topics it's covering is particularly enlightening, and it's very powerful.
Yeah.
Definitely worth a watch. Definitely. And beyond that, really, talking of documentaries, the only other thing I've got to say was I remember on Netflix there's a couple of sort of nature-related documentaries, Attenborough and I think Blue Planet, Planet Earth, something like names like that. They're all definitely worth a watch. I've watched them with friends, just having them on, and they're really good.
Yeah. Did you watch it with your youngsters?
Oh,
what did they think of it?
13th, sorry, crikey, God, no. Good God, no. But no, Brady, and youngsters, no, Brady, I'm 20, I live with my mum. Youngsters is not, they're not something I have, which, all in good time, but no, I don't have kids currently, at least not to my knowledge.
Or you were wrong.
So an idea for a podcast that I came up with, actually, just to get us back on track. I was talking with a friend. It's called Playing Favourites.
I love that. I love it. Can you remember an example? Or?
Well, yeah, and so you sort of back and forth, the host back and forth, and at some point in the conversation, you drop in your favourite. So an example, it could be something as inane as something everyone at root vegetables, something like that.
Mare tranquillitatis, I think.
Is that your favourite root vegetable? Is that is that the name of the genus?
Yeah.
Ah, okay, right, fair enough then. Great. Well, could you tell us a bit about it? Maybe spin your wheels a little bit, just to sort of feed the idea a little.
Or what was something you didn't know before?
I didn't know before that Tom Hanks was indeed not on Apollo 11. Yeah, nor was he on Apollo 13, despite the movie that lied to me.
Yeah.
Okay, I know. Yes. I thought Tom Hanks was in the film, and I swear he was. Yeah. I swear Tom Hanks was on Apollo 11. I don't know if you have the same experience, or if you knew all along that Tom Hanks never went to the moon. Is that where you find yourself? Are you in that crowd? Team no Tom Hanks?
Yeah. Did you watch it with your youngsters?
Yes.
What did they think of it?
My daughter said, when I expressed my surprise that Tom Hanks wasn't in the film, my daughter said, well, of course he wasn't in the film. Why should he be in the film? Do you expect every celebrity to be in this film about going to the moon? I said, no. And she said, yeah, do you expect Taylor Swift to be in this film? No.
Or you were wrong. Did you watch it with your youngsters?
Yeah.
What did they think of it?
Well, so you see, I thought initially that Apollo 11 had 4 astronauts, and so I kept telling them the whole time that to wait for the other astronaut to come in, and he never did, and I stand by what my children told me I was wrong about.
or you were wrong.
Or I was wrong, yeah. But the wife and I did put together like a bingo game.
Yeah.
Yeah, for them to play, so they could notice certain things.
Oh, I love that. I love it. Can you remember an example, or?
Well, when certain of the seas, like the Sea of Tranquility, would come on, they would mark off a thing.
Yeah. What was your lasting impression of it, or what was something you didn't know before?
I didn't know that people actually believe the moon landing happened. That just seems like baffling that people would actually believe that. Like, they tell it like it's a real story.
Firstly, it wasn't a documentary that I watched. It was the movie. Yeah, and I wanted to watch... Stop active listening. I wanted to watch the Apollo 11 movie, but accidentally I put in The Terminal, another Tom Hanks movie, but I would argue certainly one of the weakest ones. So after about 10 minutes of that, I took that film out and decided instead to watch something which was similar to Apollo 11 and followed the same thing, but more documentary-esque. So, obviously, you know exactly what I put in. Well, okay, so you can active listen when it's for goodness. Right, I sat down and I watched the movie Deep Impact.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that taught me everything I needed to know about the moon.
Did you watch it with your youngsters?
No.
What did they think of it?
They did not see it because I forbid them. It's pretty intense. So no children for that movie. You gonna talk now, Brady? I feel like there's a long pause here, and I don't know how to fill it.
or you were wrong.
Well, okay. I'm not wrong that you're taking a long pause. That's fact. Yeah, okay. Apparently I'm wrong.
Oh, I love that. I love it. Can you remember an example or?
All right. I don't know what else to do with this, man. I honestly, I looked at 15 minutes and thought, you know what, that'll go by pretty quick.
Yeah.
But when you're just kind of monologuing,
Mare tranquillitatis, I think.
It's really, really hard to keep the energy up for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I think I'm just gonna bail out at this point.
They used to think they were seas. I think it dates back to that because obviously the moon has the dark and the light areas. The dark areas that they called seas are the flat areas, and the light parts of the moon are mountainous and more sort of jagged, and the light comes off it more brightly.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like historical. It's historical, yeah. Do you know how far away the moon is?
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, well, yes, that's one way of putting it.
I mean, isn't it 6 times farther than Mars?
There's nothing wrong with not knowing. I think 99.9% of people don't know, and I couldn't tell you exactly, but what would you guess? Like, just like a total guess. Kilometers, yeah, or miles.
A total guess? I would say 100 million miles. Why not?
It's not quite that far. It's in the hundreds of there. So it's about a bit less than 250,000 miles. At its furthest, because it obviously has this sort of an elliptical orbit, so sometimes it's closer to Earth than other times. At its furthest, I am reading this now, I don't know this off by heart. At its furthest, it's 405,000 kilometers. At its closest, it's about 360,000.
But what is that in miles, Brady? For all the Americans.
Well, yeah, we did it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we did make it to the moon. That is true. I guess 100 million miles.
Yeah. You're practically an astronaut.
Me? I didn't even know that,
Nah.
Gosh. Well.
Yeah, I'm sure there are cars that have done that much.
Distance.
I bet the Renault did that many.
Well, honestly, one of my old cars probably did get up to that many miles, actually. But I don't think it would have enough mileage to make the return trip back to Earth. So, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I know you love the moon. I know you love Apollo.
Yeah, we did it.
But this is ridiculous, to the point of farce, really. And so I'm going to give you one last chance, mate, to move on. I'm sick of this. I've listened to talk about the moon. I reckon I'm at the point I could probably fly us back there, single-handed, single-blooded.
You're practically an astronaut.
Right, forget it. Screw this.
Do you know how far away the moon is?
It is 2 seconds by the speed of light.
Yeah, well, yes, that's one way of putting it.
Otherwise, I probably have no clue exactly how.
There's nothing wrong with not knowing. I think 99.9% of people don't know, and I couldn't tell you exactly, but what would you guess? Like, just like a total guess.
Kilometers or miles?
Kilometers, yeah, or miles.
Okay, 1.5 million miles, which is 2 kilometers million.
It's not quite that far. It's about a bit less than 250,000 miles.
Ah, not bad.
At its closest, it's about 360,000.
Couple day drive by ejected vehicle.
Well, yeah, we did it.
Yeah, I mean, I could imagine. That would be how fun would that be? That would be a really cool trip to go on. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I go on so many road trips. This would be basically the same thing as a 2-day road trip, but just to the moon.
I mean, you're practically an astronaut.
If you count all the Tour de France cyclists training throughout the year and add up all their miles, it's probably something equivalent of that. But with a much less attractive view along the way.
Yeah, I'm sure there are cars that have done that much. I bet the Renault did that many.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah, I guess it's not that great of it's a huge fate, but it's not like that huge of a thing, I guess, once we look at it decades later after going. But yeah, of course, like it's a different mentality overall. There's not too many trees to stare out the window.
Do you know how far away the moon is?
The moon, it's about 27 miles.
Yeah, well, yes, that's one way of putting it.
Yeah, the correct way, the correct distance, 27 miles, which I believe is about 7 foot.
There's nothing wrong with not knowing. I think 99.9% of people don't know, and I couldn't tell you exactly, but what would you guess? Like a total guess.
27 miles.
Kilometers, yeah, or miles.
Oh, 27 miles.
Yeah, so like the mare.
Mare Tranquillitatis, I think.
Yeah, the Mare Tranquillitatis, the Sea of Tranquility. Yeah, you know it.
Yeah.
You know that they were talking about the Sea of Tranquility, and I forgot why do they actually call it a sea?
They used to think they were seas.
Oh, right. So it's not like they actually have water in them, right?
Yeah, it's like historical. It's historical, yeah. Do you know how far away the moon is?
Farther than New Zealand.
Yeah, well, yes, that's one way of putting it.
I don't know, Brady. How would I possibly...
There's nothing wrong with not knowing. I think 99.9% of people don't know, and I couldn't tell you exactly, but what would you guess? Like, just like a total guess.
In kilometers?
Kilometers, yeah, or miles.
Jeez. I'm not quite... 2 million. I'm going with 2 million kilometers.
It's not quite that far.
It's in the hundreds of thousands?
Yeah, it's in the hundreds of thousands. So it's about a bit less than 250,000 miles.
All right.
At its furthest, it's 405,000 kilometers.
And at the closest?
At its closest, it's about 360,000.
Oh, I mean, that's not that far. I bet I've gone that far in my lifetime. I've probably walked that far in my lifetime. Yeah.
I mean, you're practically an astronaut.
I mean, I haven't quite gone to the moon yet.
Nah.
No. But I mean, it's really not as far as you'd think.
Yeah, I'm sure there are cars that have done that much.
Yeah, I mean...
I bet the Renault did that many.
Oh, man, do you remember that time when we took the Renault to that Australian rules football game, right? Against Greenwich? And then we ended up getting actually, like, broken on the side of the road. Yeah. Oh, it was a good time.
Do you know how far away the moon is?
I mean, the dome can't be more than 100 miles away.
Yeah, well, yes, that's one way of putting it. Sort of jagged and the light
all right,
comes off it more brightly.
You're clearly not listening to me. I'm just going to leave.
Do you have any emotional feeling about the moon? Like, do you look at it and like feel a kind of a wonder and a magic, or is it just a thing that's there like a lamppost?
I really like it. Sometimes, and it goes back to when I was a kid, I almost see a woman in the moon. If you look at all the craters in a certain way, it almost looks like a woman with really long hair kind of sweeping across. But that's just me.
Not so much a friend, but just like a companion, like a twin.
Oh, so you've seen it too?
Oh, yeah, like in some ways, yeah. It's a bit like that.
Okay. Well, it's sometimes nice when the moon is full and you can see her completely. I do like that. But when it's not, she knows she'll always come back.
What's your favorite thing in space?
My favorite thing in space, I really like stars. Just how they're little specks in the darkness of night.
Yeah.
And that if you look at them really hard, you can see shapes in the sky.
Yeah, exactly. And the scales are all wrong, but yeah.
The scales for Libra?
Yeah, but also like the objects would be very small too. They'd be like, size of pebbles and grains of sand and stuff like that. But yeah. But what was your favorite?
I mean, yes, they look like grains of sand from far away, but I really don't have a particular favorite, honestly. I know. I say it's my favorite thing, but I think the really only big constellations I've been able to recognize would be Orion and the Big Dipper would be my, I guess, favorite constellations because they're the ones I recognize. I would like to be able to recognize the Pegasus one, but I just don't see it,
That's advanced.
No, it is it? I was going to say...
You went to Kosciuszko Street Primary School? Really? Are you joking or are you serious?
I guess I'm joking because I didn't.
No, I know. I was just trying to make you feel special for a second.
Aww.
You still have not told me your favorite object in space.
Oh, well, I mean, I had to pick a particular star, I don't have a preference as to which star is the ultimate object of my affection.
Yeah.
So.
It's always the food.
The food?
Yes.
I don't know of any food constellations or.
Yeah.
But I'm sure if there's a will, there's a way. You can almost argue anything can be a drawing out of those stars. So.
I've always been fascinated at how it appears to be the same exact size as the sun, but of course they're at very different distances from each other. Like they're working different shifts of work. This one's on the night shift. This one's day job.
Not so much a friend, but just like a companion, like a twin.
So they're work buddies or something. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like in some ways, yeah, it's a bit like that.
Well, I can see how people historically viewed them as having like equal weight. These do look like two competing gods vying for our attention.
What's your favorite thing in space?
That's a tough one. I mean, like every astrophysicist and their mom, I'm pretty interested in black holes and how the laws of physics change up whenever we're inside or approaching a singularity. Yeah, so the thing is, like, you go through, if you're not already spaghettified after passing the event horizon, you're actually still traveling ad infinitum.
Yeah, exactly. And the scales are all wrong, but yeah.
Towards this, like, small point.
Yeah, but also, like, the objects would be very small too. They'd be like, size of pebbles and grains of sand and stuff like that. But yeah. But what was your favorite?
Yeah, so, I don't know. I imagine myself as being Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar, about to jump through the black hole. I also used to work the brunch shift at this restaurant, and they had this amazing dessert. Probably not many people actually ate it for brunch, but I did, called the black hole, and it was like a peanut butter cup, chocolate chip, vanilla swirl.
That's advanced.
And so I would disappear and eat 5 of these back to back so much that I often wound up calling in sick.
You went to Kosciuszko Street Primary School?
Well, I mean, it was down the street.
Really? Are you joking or are you serious?
But these are all imaginary scenarios, I guess.
No, I know. I was just trying to make you feel special for a second. You still have not told me your favorite object in space.
Okay. Favorite object in space. Yeah, I'm excited by the idea of traveling to the objects.
Yeah.
Like once you get there, like Mars, Proxima Centauri. I don't really look at it too much, but I like to think about it. It's fascinating, the idea of going there. One day.
Yeah.
One day. But I wonder if I could bring enough food.
It's always the food.
Shots of espresso, and so they're all wiry, just like waiting to calm down and get hungry and eat again. What else do I like? Nebulae. There's some pretty cool nebulae out there.
Like, do you look at it and like feel a kind of a wonder and a magic, or is it just a thing that's there, like a lamppost?
I think of it more like a friend. I mean, it's always there, right? Yeah. I mean, sometimes I just like to gaze up at the stars and gaze longingly at the waning gibbous, and then just never forget that it's important to us.
Not so much a friend, but just like a companion, like a twin.
Oh, sort of like you and me.
Oh yeah, like in some ways, yeah, it's a bit like that.
Yeah. Sometimes I just like to gaze up at the moon and think, oh, there's Brady. He's right there. He's always with me. He's a true companion, but very far away.
What's your favourite thing in space?
Well, that's actually rather interesting because the girls and I went to the Adelaide Space Museum recently, and we saw the big thing, the big solar system that was there. It was actually rather cool.
Yeah,
but I couldn't quite trust everything that was there.
Nah.
Like Jupiter didn't quite have everything it needed to. Saturn, no rings.
Yeah, exactly. And the scales are all wrong. But yeah.
Yeah, I almost wish they'd put the satellites there.
Yeah, but also like the objects would be very small too. They'd be like, you know, the size of pebbles and grains of sand and stuff like that. But yeah. But what was your favourite?
Well, when we went there, my daughter really liked to try and grab Saturn's rings, which was interesting. yeah. It wasn't quite great, but we didn't quite get like the best look at it because I forced us to leave early, right? So we could get into the front of the line at the basement, in the basement of the place, which was actually the food line, right? Yeah.
That's advanced. That's
right.
Advanced.
Yeah. We had to get those corn dogs, right? It's kind of like the ones at Kosciuszko's.
You went to Kosciuszko Street Primary School?
Yes, I went to Kosciuszko.
Really? Are you joking, or are you serious?
Yeah. Brady, you went to Kosciuszko's with me.
No, I know. I was just trying to make you feel special for a second. You still have not told me your favourite object in space.
Oh, well... I mean, if I had to pick the most useful object in space, it'd be the sun, right?
Yeah.
But I guess that's rather boring, so I'll choose something else. I don't know, Mars?
Yeah.
I mean, probably because of the Mars bar, right?
It's always the food.
Of course it's always the food. I love my Mars bars.
Yes. Do you have any emotional feeling about the moon? Like, do you look at it and like feel a kind of a wonder and a magic, or is it just a thing that's there, like a lamppost?
Exactly, it is a lamppost. I think you're coming around to my point of view here. Yeah, it's nothing more than really just a lamppost in the sky. The government is, again...
Do you look at it and like feel a kind of a wonder and a magic, or is it just a thing that's there, like a lamppost?
Just a thing that's there, like it lights up the sky, and that's quite pleasant. And I know it's part of poetry, but I, for one, do not succumb to that sort of poetry. I think poetry generally is a bit rubbish. If you need to speak in metaphors, you should probably take a step, have a think about what it is you want to say, and then say those words instead. Okay.
Not so much a friend, but just like a companion, like a twin.
Well, I'm kind of like a friend to you, yes.
Oh yeah, like in some ways, yeah. If the Australian government tomorrow said, "Look, we want to send a mission to Mars. It's a bit risky and it's going to take a long time, but we think you're the person for it. Like, we want to send you on a group of 10 Australians." Would you do it? And like, you know, you have to leave your family for a few years and the risk and all that, or would you say no, couldn't give a stuff?
Well, given the current pandemic crisis that we've got going on, if it was feasible to make it, right? Because you got to be able to make it. If it's feasible, I think I would do it. It's for the greater good.
Yeah.
It's a new adventure. Yeah. It's something I nor any human has ever done before. So I would say, why not? Even if it is with a bunch of Australians that I do not know.
What if they said to you, would you be willing to not see your family for a year in exchange for a Mars bar?
I would say no. Would you make that trade-off? That's a pretty big trade-off to make. But again, I'm not particularly fond of Mars bars, so if you said Reese's,
Yeah.
well, I'd consider it at least. The Mars bar is a hard no.
Ah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess you might be a big fan of Mars bars since, Mars, space, candy.
Oh, so they weren't there. You had to take them back. Were they proper ones or were they fun size?
The ones I got, like candy for Halloween, they weren't regular.
Well, you could have eaten one and then said to the kids, Nanny sent you this Mars bar to cut in half and share.
Ooh, that sounds rough. I don't know if I could get away with that in my family. Me having one and having everybody else split. But I don't honestly know if they're fans of Mars bars either.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you find
That's not mine.
Man.
Wow. Yeah. Well, in typical fashion, a conversation that started on one topic has quickly veered to unhealthy food.
Mm-hmm.
But on that note, I think we should call it a day. And thank you very much for sharing your knowledge of the moon with me.
Oh, I do not feel like I shared anything that you did not already know.
It's a bit risky and it's going to take a long time, but we think you're the person for it. Like, we want to send you on a group of 10 Australians. Would you do it? And you have to leave your family for a few years and the risk and all that? Or would you say, no, couldn't give a stuff?
Well, no. I mean, I'd obviously be very honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I certainly wouldn't go, oh, I can't give a stuff. I'm just going to turn it down outright. But I would probably end up saying no, right? Because my family, right? I mean, like, what if I don't get back?
Yeah.
I want to see my daughters grow up. I want to see them live. I want to see them live their life. I mean, I might ask them what type of food they have, right? If they got good dried foods, right? But
what if they said to you, would you be willing to not see your family for a year in exchange for a Mars bar?
Oh yeah, that's it. Right off. I'd accept wholeheartedly. But my family, we took a trip down to Sydney, right? And the girls they wanted to go to a play, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they went to a play on the Sydney Broadway there, and so I went to the Mars Factory.
Oh.
Yeah, and I went to the Mars Factory and I got these Mars bars. And when I got back, the girls wanted some, right?
Oh, so they weren't there. You had to take them back.
Yeah, right.
Were they proper ones or were they fun size?
Well, there were two full size ones, right? And so I just didn't want to share.
Well, you could have eaten one and then said to the kids, Nanny sent you this Mars bar to cut in half and share.
Well, yeah. Do you want to know what I did? Is I took the two, right, and then I left them in the car. So the kids couldn't get to them. My wife didn't know about them because she would have wanted some too. Well, eventually my wife comes into the car and she looks down. She sees the two Mars bars. And she's like, whose are these?
That's not mine.
It's not mine at all, right? Yeah. And well, obviously she didn't believe me. She took a Mars bar. Yeah. But she took a Mars bar, and so I got mine. The kids got nothing.
Well, in typical fashion, a conversation that started on one topic has quickly veered to unhealthy food. But on that note, I think we should call it a day. And thank you very much for sharing your knowledge of the moon with me.
All right, yeah. And thank you, Brady, for teaching me what the moon is, what the moon does.
And you have to leave your family for a few years and the risk and all that? Or would you say, no, couldn't give a stuff?
Probably no, considering it'd just be a government program to lock us up somewhere and convince the world we went somewhere, really just knocking us off for the sake.
You have to leave your family for a few years and the risk and all that? Or would you say, no, couldn't give a stuff?
I mean, leaving my family for a few years.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty cool. But I don't know whether the Australians would contact me. I mean, true, I've got citizenship to your country, but I just don't think they would be interested in my, lack of any knowledge, lack of much interest. And if I were to go up into space on a mission to the moon with the Australian government or any other government, I would just be endlessly quoting Event Horizon.
And you have to leave your family for a few years and the risk and all that, or would you say no? Couldn't give a stuff.
Well, I probably wouldn't say no because it's not really my accent. But another challenge is Australian nationality. I would have to somehow get an Australian passport to be an Australian astronaut on this Australian spacecraft, part of an Australian mission on Australia's quest to Mars. So that'd be a tough one to pull off, politically speaking. But I'd try for it, right? Why not? Why not? See how much goodies I can pack in there with me. I'd eat a Mars bar for Australia.
What if they said to you, would you be willing to not see your family for a year in exchange for a Mars bar?
Well, I mean, obviously. I requested that a long time ago. Do I respond on Twitter, publicly? No, I love my family, and actually that's it's a tough one, right? I with all the excitement and hubbub around space travel over great distances, there are some daily joys to life that I just don't know if it would be worth giving up. That espresso, that coffee shared with, but I would stock up, get 50 Reese's Pieces.
Well, in typical fashion, a conversation that started on one topic has quickly veered to unhealthy food. But on that note, I think we should call it a day. And thank you very much for sharing your knowledge of the moon with me.
Oh, it's been a treat. Thank you. And until next time.
We'd like to say a special thank you to everyone who sent in submissions. Their names are going to be listed in the show notes. Also, I'm going to link to a separate place where you can go and hear everything unadulterated, kind of as one big slab, everyone's submissions. And that's also going to include some submissions that didn't make it into this episode. And the reason they didn't make it mainly is because some people got really creative and they really went off on a tangent and they included music or they really played around with the editing, which was fine. It's really good fun, but it didn't really fit what you just heard because what you just heard was supposed to sort of all sound a bit similar to each other. The other stuff just wouldn't have worked. So check out the notes, check out the links if you want to find out more about all that stuff. But now, at last, Tim returns. Here is the conversation as it happened. I hope you enjoy it. Well done for lasting this long. All right, I'll do a quick count just for the sake of it.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've chosen a talking discussion point, and I've chosen something close to my heart, so you can probably guess what it is.
McDonald's?
Well, that is close to my heart, but no, not that.
Soccer? YouTubing?
No.
Me?
No.
That's all that's in your life, man. That's it.
Very funny, very funny. I'll give you a clue. It's something that's in the sky.
Oh, right. Space.
Well, a bit more specific than that.
Oh, okay. The American endeavours to explore...
No, it's an object.
Rockets? Planes? Oh, the moon.
Yes, at last.
Your other love. Oh, my rival for your love, the moon.
It is one of my great passions. And I always kind of wonder what you know about it. What do you know about the moon?
I only know what you've told me.
So quite a bit then.
Oh, yeah. 30 years of continuous conversation.
Exactly.
What do I know about the moon? That's a good question. I know that it doesn't orbit. It as an object goes around the world, but it doesn't spin in itself. So it does orbit, but it doesn't spin.
No, that's incorrect, actually.
Oh, let me... hang on. Let me clarify.
Yeah.
It does so, but it does so with the same speed as going around an orbit. In other words, it's always got the same face to the Earth. Is that right?
That is correct. That is correct, because it spins on its own axis in the same amount of period it takes to go around the Earth. It always faces. That's a tidal lock, always pointing that same face. So we never see the other side of the moon, the far side of the moon.
That's right. And the famous line right at the end of the Pink Floyd album, The Dark Side of the Moon, is that there is no dark side of the moon. In fact, it's all dark because it's actually dark brown or grey dust. Is that right?
It is. The moon has a very low albedo. It's about the same as sort of bitumen on the road. It's a very dark object. So I would have thought, because I know you recently watched the Apollo 11 documentary.
Yes.
I thought you might be sort of full of facts and little nuggets. Like, what did you take away from that documentary? What was your lasting impression of it? Or what was something you didn't know before?
Probably a lot of little things that I didn't know before, little details along the way. The one thing that I took away from it as an impression was just a reminder of, in some ways, how basic the technology and yet how advanced it was. It's always intriguing to look at technology that's, say, a decade before we were born. I mean, they landed on the moon, about 6 years before we were born, 7 years. So that's sort of a mysterious time technologically, because it feels like the olden days and everything looks older than that you're used to. It's not lived technology from our life. We can't remember a phone from that era.
Yeah.
So it feels antiquated. On the other hand, it got humans to the moon and back. And so it's just unprecedented in human history, the technological advance. So I was left with that strange sense of, I can't believe they did this, but also I can't believe they did this with those antiquated looking boxes and buttons and technology. That was the funny sort of feeling that I got from it.
Yeah. Did you watch it with your youngsters?
Yes.
What did they think of it?
They asked lots of clarifying questions on the way through. And so, it's been too long. I can't remember what they were, but I remember it many times. I was able to offer very informed answer. And in the back of my mind was, Brady would have been proud of that answer. Like,
Or you were wrong.
I think every now and then my wife was looking at me like, oh, wow, you know quite a bit about the moon. And I think it was, I know that entirely because of the fact that I'm your friend.
Oh, I love that. I love it. Can you remember an example? Or?
Well, I think they were bemused by the names of the areas where the module was going to land. So the lunar module. So it's the Sea of Tranquility. Is that right?
Mare Tranquillitatis, I think.
They were bemused as to, so what was that? Why? It's like, why are they going to the seaside? It's on the moon.
Yeah.
So, being able to clarify a few things like that was good. The answer, just to push a bit further on that note, I don't know why they call it the Sea of Tranquility. Why does it that sort of name?
They used to think they were seas.
Oh.
I think it dates back to that because obviously the moon has the dark and the light areas. The dark areas that they called seas are the flat areas, and the light parts of the moon are mountainous and more sort of jagged, and the light comes off it more brightly.
So this is going way back, like Galileo. Is that what you're saying? There's
it's
water
like historical. It's historical. Yeah. Do you know how far away the moon is?
It's about 3 days travel in a rocket.
Yeah. Well, yes, that's one way of putting it.
I don't know the measurement.
There's nothing wrong with not knowing. I think 99.9% of people don't know, and I couldn't tell you exactly, but what would you guess? Like, just like a total guess.
Kilometers,
yeah, or miles.
Oh, look, what is it? I mean, it'll be is it a few million miles or a few million kilometers? Is it in the millions?
It's not quite that far.
A few 100,000 then?
Yeah, it's in the hundreds of there. So it's about a bit less than 250,000 miles.
Oh, okay.
At its furthest, because it obviously has this sort of an elliptical orbit, so sometimes it's closer to Earth than other times.
Yeah.
At its furthest, I am reading this now, I don't know this off by heart. At its furthest, it's 405,000 kilometres.
Oh, right, yeah, okay.
At its closest, it's about 360,000.
Yeah. It's funny, that actually feels attainable.
Well, yeah, we did it.
No, I don't mean for NASA. I mean, I drive to Melbourne from here. Well, with a bit of extra, that's about 1,000 kilometres. Yeah. I've done that a bunch of times.
I mean, you're practically an astronaut.
That's right. Well, it's funny. It's not like it's billions and billions of light years away. It's actually like, we can do that. A lot of people would have travelled that distance in their life, flying around the world. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure there are cars that have done that much.
Yeah.
I bet the Renault did that many.
That's that's true. Actually, that's right. Yeah, they spin around. So it is funny that the length of the distance of the capacity of a car is similar to driving to the moon. That's a funny thought. Yeah. It makes the moon feel a lot closer, actually.
Do you have any emotional feeling about the moon? Like, do you look at it and like feel a kind of a wonder and a magic, or is it just a thing that's there like a lamppost?
I don't think about it, except if it's looking beautiful, and then I appreciate its beauty. I know that you talk about it as being this sort of companion that we have that's just beautiful and is close by and like a friend of the earth. I don't feel it that. I know what you mean, and I like that idea. But I
not so much a friend, but just like a companion, like a twin.
It's like a pet. It's like
oh yeah, like in some ways, yeah, it's a bit like that.
I wouldn't have spontaneously thought of that, but it is quite remarkable, the idea that you could go there and then stand on it and then come back. I was amazed by that again, watching the documentary.
What's your favourite thing in space?
My favourite thing in space, I reckon, when you're young and you learn about all the planets in primary school, and you know how they sort of set them out across, did you do this, across the ceiling, like the sun's at one end and then or in the middle, and then and of course it's not in proportion, because Mars is 1 meter away and Pluto's 3 meters away, and it's
exactly, and the scales are all wrong, but
oh no, it's all right, otherwise it would be that's right,
but also like the objects would be very small too. They'd be like size of pebbles and grains of sand and stuff like that.
That's right. Yeah.
But what was your favorite?
We had Halley's Comet coming, and when Halley's Comet came, we actually attached it to the fan, and it spun around on the fan, and which was pretty cool. But also, what one of the classes did is that they attached another wheel in another part of the room, so that it could actually be the proper sort of the distance. It went around they attached it so it went sort of around one wheel all the way across the room, around the fan, and back across around the wheel, and so it was much more realistic.
That's advanced.
In fact, it was so realistic, some telescopes got confused as to which was the real Halley's Comet and which one was Kosciuszko Street Primary School.
You went to Kosciuszko Street Primary School?
I did, yeah.
Really? Are you joking, or are you serious?
I'm serious. How... You will never have heard of that before.
No, I know. I was just trying to make you feel special for a second. You still have not told me your favourite object in space.
Oh, right. Okay. So I was laying out that beautiful vista in order to point out that I think everyone's favourite planet in primary school is Mars, partly because it's close by and it's red, and because we love Mars bars, so it sort of feels familiar.
It's always the food.
And it's where Martians come from. So I kind of feel like it's the one planet everyone's heard of, even if they don't know the other planets.
Yeah.
I think my favourite, when I was a kid, it was like, oh, Mars. Yeah, like if we could go anywhere, we'd go to Mars. So I think when I was a kid, my favourite object in space was either the sun or Mars.
If the Australian government tomorrow said, look, we want to send a mission to Mars, it's a bit risky and it's going to take a long time, but we think you're the person for it. Like, we want to send you on a group of 10 Australians. Would you do it? And you have to leave your family for a few years and the risk and all that? Or would you say, no, couldn't give a stuff?
I would say no, but not out of fear. But I'm not interested enough. Like, I couldn't be bothered. It's like, I could stay here and I could, have, go to a cafe and spend time with my family, and I could read books and I could see films and all that. Or I could get inside this tiny little tube and go off for ages. It'll bring me world fame and it will be an incredible discovery. And I'll be like, look, you probably should get someone, like, choose Brady. He'll be into this. Like, he'd enjoy it much more than me.
What if they said to you, would you be willing to not see your family for a year in exchange for a Mars bar?
Well, hang on. You can't confront me with such tempting questions. You know what's funny? My mum, so the kids' nanny, because everyone's in lockdown and so forth, so we just happened to be going past to pick something up, dropping something off at my mum's place out the front, and she'd left out a little treat for us to take and give back to the girls, and it was 2 Mars bars, right? Oh. And I have to tell you, driving across Adelaide with 2 little Mars bars sitting on the dashboard is not a challenge to be sneezed at.
Oh, so they weren't there. You had to take them back.
That's right, yeah.
Were they proper ones or were they fun size?
No. They were fully fledged, fully realised, proper size Mars bars.
Well, you could have eaten one and then said to the kids, you know, Nanny sent you this Mars bar to cut in half and share.
Well, here's the interesting fact. It's not even that I really love Mars bars that much. I actually never really think about them. But and it's not that I particularly felt like them either. It's just that there's something subconscious about the fact that, well, they're sitting there. And so I found myself kind of instinctively, without even thinking of it, reaching for them every now and then. Just driving along and I go, oh, well, there's a Mars bar. And then I went, oh, hang on a sec. No, I'm actually taking them for someone. So it's like our brains are wired for Mars bars in a particular way. It's just intuitively reached out. There it is. Oh, hang on a sec. I don't feel like that. I don't want that. That's not for me.
Well, in typical fashion, a conversation that started on one topic has quickly veered to unhealthy food.
Yes.
But on that note, I think we should call it a day. And thank you very much for sharing your knowledge of the moon with me.
Oh, man. Thank you for asking. If you have any other questions, things I can help you with in regards to the moon, don't hesitate to ask.